Hey everyone, and welcome to Bits and Bytes, a little bit of everything gaming. I'm Trisha Hershberger, and today we'll be exploring the weird and wonderful world of stunt casting celebrities in video games. But first, I thought it might be time for a little indie roundup. Independent game developers have built their once small underground scene into a major force in the industry in just the last 5 or 6 years. It can be tough to pick out the gems in the rough these days with so many titles in the mix and Steam recommending nothing but anime games because you bought a game made in Japan one time. I just wanted to play BlazBlue, Valve. I didn't know I was signing up for the visual novel shiny boob game list for the rest of my life. Here are 3 of this summer's indie releases that we think you'll find worth your time. Peyer is the newest release from Supergiant Games, the team that brought you Bastion and Transistor. Much like those games, it's really not like anything else out there.
Now let the rites commence.
It's sort of a visual novel mashed up with an arcade rugby/basketball game, with magic and demons in it.
Seize the orb.
You and your companions have been banished to the hellish limbo of the downside, but by playing NBA Jam with a magic ball, you can possibly undo your banishment and earn your way to freedom in the corrupt totalitarian Commonwealth.
Witness the rites firsthand and be inspired.
Sounds great! As sort of a wizard coach, you'll bond with your motley crew of characters and struggle with the choice to give your star players the freedom they so desperately crave at the potential cost of your win streak.
But first, you have a choice to make.
Hey, there's no I in team, folks.
And it is done.
Here we have The End is Nigh. It's a classic old-school platforming game, and, it's one of my favorites.
The End is Nigh is the newest release from the developer who gave us Super Meat Boy and The Binding of Isaac, and it's kind of both of those mashed up into a really dark comedy that's also a crazy test of reflexes. You are maybe the last living human in a post-apocalyptic world, and your favorite video game stops working.
Oh, no.
So you set out to find companionship.
I think I'm gonna go out and make a friend.
Also, you are a blob, because the apocalypse turned you into that.
All in all, hasn't been so bad.
And you are collecting floating tumors to make a friend. If you're into twisted satire and hardcore platforming challenge, look no further.
It won't be easy, but I have nothing left to lose.
Sundered began as a Kickstarter campaign and ended as a beautifully drawn and animated Metroidvania. Main character, Esh, is a woman who gets lost in the desert and stumbles upon a strange labyrinth of Lovecraft-style elder things and ancient horror. To survive, she may have to give up her humanity as she traverses a procedurally generated maze of locked doors and monster assaults. The procedural generation can be a little bland at times, but it plays like a dream and doesn't skimp on the challenge. We've seen games grow exponentially as an entertainment medium over the last couple of decades, and with bigger successes come bigger budgets and bigger expectations. One of the ways game companies try to exceed those expectations has been to cast high-level celebrity talent in their games, both to wow players with their star power and to hopefully get some mainstream coverage to boost visibility. It's pretty common today, but there have been some strange choices made at times. Here are 3 memorable oddities in the annals and journals of celebrity game roles. It's obscure now, but at one time the Driver series was one of the top dogs on PlayStation.
I know what it is.
In 2004, the Driver games were popular enough that Driver 3 attempted to go head-to-head with Grand Theft Auto with an all-star cast of Hollywood names.
You cut a deal, Bacchus, but you're not gonna give them back their V8. I am.
Michael Madsen plays series protagonist Tanner, expert driver and undercover cop.
You need a driver, and I need a team.
The supporting cast includes Iggy Pop,
The car's in the Gold Coast Hotel.
Ving Rhames, Mickey Rourke, and Michelle Rodriguez as Clarita.
I've got the order. We're leaving soon.
Atari pulled out all the stops to promote it, but it received mediocre reviews and quickly fizzled out in the sales charts. It wasn't the last Driver game, but subsequent entries have been much more restrained in their casting choices, and the series has been inactive for 6 years at this point.
Be careful, Jody. No one knows what you're gonna find on the other side.
Beyond Two Souls, David Cage's most recent cinematic adventure game, starred Ellen Page as Jodie Holmes, a psychic woman with a mysterious connection to a ghost named Aiden. Willem Dafoe plays Nathan Dawkins, a doctor who studies her from childhood but grows to become something of a father figure.
I just want to go out and have friends and be like other girls my age.
You'll never be like them. You need to get used to that.
Often celebrities treat games as a quick in-and-out gig, but Beyond Two Souls was not some quick cameo for these two high-profile actors.
Because I don't want to lose you.
It was a year-long project with a 2,000-page script, and while the final result was somewhat, let's go with uneven, you couldn't help but think the presence of Page and Dafoe and their willingness to commit to such a large project was a sign that games were becoming a more respected artistic medium.
Keep your distance, Ryan.
We'll have to wait and see if Cage's upcoming Detroit Become Human can step up the writing game to the level of the talent involved.
Welcome to paradise.
Here's an odd one just due to when it was made. Apocalypse is a 1998 third-person shooter by Neversoft for the PlayStation 1 that stars Bruce Willis and a bunch of half-hearted one-liners.
Strap one on, it's time to jam!
An evil techno-sorcerer guy named the Reverend has whipped up 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and it's up to our man Bruce to stop them.
Lock and load!
Trouble is, the PS1 isn't quite up to rendering a character that's recognizable as Willis, and you just sort of have to trust the game that it's him.
These guys need a little more lead in their diet.
It plays like a twin-stick shooter, except you use the D-pad to move and the face buttons to shoot in 4 different directions.
Suck on this!
You have to press 2 together to shoot diagonally. It's as fun as that sounds.
That is entertainment.
Is it? Is it really? Every once in a while you get a quick quip from Bruce, but there's a distinct impression that he wasn't too involved in the project.
Hey, I'm not getting paid enough to do this crap.
Written line or recording booth outtake. The world may never know.
Whoa!
They did slap a pretty good rendering of Bruce Willis's face on the cover here at least, so you can look at it and remember who you're playing as. Neversoft went on to make the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games after Apocalypse, so the story does have a happy ending. Not every celebrity casting choice in games is for the main character. Often there's just a cameo from a recognizable name, and they can be even weirder than the starring roles. Here are a few of our favorites.
May I take your hand and escort you to the castle?
A number of recognizable names appear in 2010's Fable 3, but there's one of particular interest.
You will shoot to kill. Start with the ringleaders.
Before he was Magneto, Michael Fassbender took a villainous turn as Albion's King Logan, your cold-hearted older brother.
You are no longer a child, and it is time I stopped treating you as one.
He forces a cruel moral choice on you early in the game, prompting you to begin planning his downfall and introducing the morality mechanics that will determine the outcome of your own reign as king.
If you can't choose, I will.
Fassbender does a great job as Logan, but this remains his one and only video game role to date, possibly because shortly after the release of the game, his film career jumped to light speed and hasn't slowed down since.
Then you will never forget it.
Down.
Sega had a long relationship with the King of Pop by 1999, but even devoted fans raised an eyebrow when Michael Jackson popped up in that year's Dreamcast sleeper hit, Space Channel 5, and its sequel.
This is Michael. Listen, we've got a state of emergency here. Space Channel 5 is being attacked by robots.
Swinging reporter Ooh La La battles alongside Michael 500 years in the future when the whole universe is notably groovier.
Stay tuned.
It makes sense when you think about it. If you had to stave off an alien invasion with the power of dance, who better to have on your team? As the Space Channel 5 station chief, Space Michael is instrumental in Ooh La La's victory over King Purge, even if he does have a tendency to pronounce her name wrong.
Ulala, let's go. Let's shout.
Greed can poison a man's soul, make him deadly.
Deadly Creatures is a Wii game in which you play as a scorpion and a tarantula, and it mind-bogglingly stars Billy Bob Thornton and Dennis Hopper.
I don't hear you. Come on.
No, they don't voice the scorpion and the tarantula, although that would have been amazing. There are 2 guys named Wade and George looking for buried treasure in the desert.
Start here? No, I'm just getting my bearings. It's over this way.
You sort of eavesdrop on them while you go about your arachnid business, as their increasingly combative relationship affects your environment. The final boss of the game is Dennis Hopper's character,
Oh, what the hell?
whom you defeat by repeatedly stinging in the crotch.
I thought I got you that time.
Get off!
Leaning on everyone's star power to raise visibility isn't necessarily bad, of course. I mean, how do you think I got this gig? Me and Bruce Willis, we're practically the same in that respect. Well, that's all the time we have for Bits and Bytes today. Be sure to let us know your picks for best, worst, or weirdest celebrity roles in games in the comments. Until next time, remember, why take a bit when you can have a bite? This is a real deadly, deadly butterfly. Arr.